I got a quick religious thing.
Oh. Have you found Jesus?
Well, no, I'm having a tough time with the Jesus. My daughter was, baptized.
Sure.
Now that she's pretty much walking. Aren't you supposed to do that when they're, like, really new?
I think so.
We decided to get a private baptism at the church near me. There were literally 12 people there.
Oh, nice.
In the entire church. And 3 homeless people completely passed out sleeping at the back of the church.
Oh.
It ruled. But I don't understand, like, the priest pulls out the baptism pamphlet and reads all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Does the water, and now what? My child has Jesus in her?
Doesn't have that original sin, right?
But I don't understand.
You're born with all that sin all over you.
But why him reading from a pamphlet in a church, now it's all good? Like,
that's the magic of
because it's utter idiocy.
Religion. It's magical.
And then I brought it up, unfortunately, at my apartment. And then I got to talking to, that he's the middleman. I just wanted to have an open discussion about it. But there are people that have that blind faith where they don't even want to discuss it. I just want to say, all I wanted to bring up in my house was, does anyone else find it weird that he took a pamphlet? It was a pamphlet that said baptism on it or christening, whatever the fuck. They just pull it off the wall and they read it.
He doesn't even know it by heart?
I think old school priests, they had to learn that shit, right?
Well, they made it look like they knew it. At least they had the fucking book low and they would glance down.
Well, I mean, because we went for the private thing, because they want people signing up for this religion left and right. They'll do the private ones for nothing, by the way.
Yeah.
We all got to go right next to the priest instead of having to sit in the church.
Did you want her baptized or you didn't care either way?
It's more for other people in my family. That's fine. Because I don't know.
Magic mumbo jumbo?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what the odds are?
I'm
that
not
you
a fan
can
of
pick
organized
the right religion. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of organized religion, but if it helps people, whatever. I don't know.
Is your wife religious?
No, not as much. No. It's always the older people. The older generations. But to read from a pamphlet and then to say, okay, now, the kid's got Jesus, to me is mind-blowing. I'm like, really? So I just want to have a discussion about that. Like, wow, anyone else find this a little weird that it's a pamphlet, you pour some water on the head and that's it? Now there's magic in there?
That's all it takes.
Now there's religious magic in her?
And before that, Christ didn't care about the kid? Christ was like, fuck the kid, until the water's poured, I'm not interested?
No, but it had some of that sin in there.
But I just wanted to...
It would have ended up in limbo or something.
I brought it up just to maybe get a few jokes out.
Sure.
In general, just that anyone who wants to jump in and just have a discussion how that is a little strange, don't you think? I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe, but you do find it weird that he's just reading a pamphlet and he wants this over with fast. And a few times he's just like, okay, like he was, doing that type of thing.
He's just got to read from the fucking thing like you would from any other book or the Necromonicon or any of that stuff.
I was told he's the middleman.
Yeah.
That's supposed to need a middleman to the creator, though. I don't think. It's like... You don't need a middleman to talk to God.
And
Arata necktie.
I think Jimmy's right. What ruined it was that we weren't sitting in the actual church. We saw him kind of reading through it with the pamphlet. Because, like, when we were growing up, a good priest knew how to look down, like, if he lost his place and make it look like he's just deep in thought. But he actually was, like... trying to figure out what he was supposed to say next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But our priest, when we were growing up, absolutely knew that shit way more, it seems, than this particular fellow. That's all. And then it was strange. It was over. And because we had the church to ourselves, we got to see him now a mere 5 minutes later in combat pants.
What was he wearing, like fucking camo?
Underneath his robe.
Yeah.
And that blew me away. I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to see that shit.
Was he a chaplain? In the big war or something?
I don't know what he was. Oh, yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe, or maybe
he's a
it was just
chaplain in the National Guard or something.
But you don't want to see that either. You want that weird mystery that the priests are always just kind of there.
It is weird when you
always
see
in robes,
regular
you know what I mean?
clothes and fucking, with a girl.
Let me say hi to Todd and
yes.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, Todd.
I was dating
Todd
for a couple of years, and she decided that she wanted to be a Lutheran minister, and the whole issue of baptism started making me think as I'd gone to church as a kid, and then as we got more serious and she started to go on the Lutheran minister kick, I started asking about baptism and exactly what it means, and is it a magical thing or is it symbolic of John the Baptist and all that stuff, and what if it started getting technical where it's like, okay, can it be done in a hot tub? going to be done in the bathtub, and what exactly constitutes a baptism? And I started getting really specific with her, and she couldn't answer the questions. I'm like, well,
baptisms were done in rivers and stuff. Yeah, I don't think the water supply matters. I think it's a person of God that has to do the whole shindig.
And we got lazy. We got lazy along the way and decided that we don't have to be in the rivers anymore.
It's a fucking sink, a little sink.
Yeah.
And then I asked her, like, what's it mean to be a person of God? Just because you went to a college and they gave you a diploma, now you're holy all of a sudden?
What if he cheated through his teaching?
Oh, man.
Exactly.
So is he a fake priest technically in God's eyes? But, God's not really, has decided, like others, that he's not talking to us right now. You know what I mean? So maybe eventually God will say, point out all the fake priests that cheated their way through the whole thing.
Yeah,
my name's Fred. I'm just a man like you.
Exactly.
And if you got baptized by one of these fake priests and you die and you're standing in front of those supposed pearly gates and you go, oh, I'm sorry to tell you that your guy wasn't real. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I picked the wrong one, huh? The Jews are getting in.
I'm not a fan of the blind faith people. I'm a fan of people that will at least openly discuss and maybe give their opinion on what they thought the priest and the pamphlet was all about.
The priest and the pamphlet.
But I was shut down. Like, he's the middleman. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about that then. What does that mean, right?
Yeah, he's just like the conduit to God.
Because when you're sitting in the moment, you're like, okay, wait, so now magic just entered my daughter, I guess.
Uh-oh.
And that's a little...
Hope not the basketball player.
Oh, Jesus.
But they don't want you to ask those questions because then you realize you don't need them after all.
Right. Well, someone just tweeted, they said that the only point was to compel you to raise the kid Catholic. Has no religious value. Is that true? I don't even know that. I don't even know if that's the truth.
It's like every other religion. It's just that faith-based thing that you can't sell people on it. Yeah, it's the middleman guy, and he's the messenger between you and God, and you have to go through all these customs to get these things done. But there's nothing you could say that'll prove it, or anything. So, you know.
And someone goes,
the Catholics, as far as I understand, without being baptized and all that stuff, you do not go to heaven. So you need them in order to get to heaven. So that's what they're holding over you.
That's so silly. Like, all of a sudden, if you have a shitty family that doesn't baptize you, you don't go to heaven. Like, how does God fucking sleep with himself at night? If God does that, if God goes, well, I'd love to let you in, kid, but your family didn't take you.
I think he sleeps well if you could deal with, World War II, things like that.
That's a good point.
It's a very small little thing.
Yeah.
If you.
All right, boys, phones are out.
Fucking phones are lit. And someone's asking if I tipped the priest. Well, yes, I did.
Oh.
And you took it?
Well, that's the interesting point here. Mm-hmm. We handed over a couple hundred saying thank you. And he goes, oh, no, I can't take that. But there's an envelope on the altar. It's for the church. It's for the church. So just put it in the envelope. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way he's not taking a taste.
He can't. Vow of poverty or something. I don't know. What do they do? That's a nun.
We leave and the envelope's there with $200 cash. You don't think he's taking a little taste and going, here's these cheap fuckers gave us $20.
No, does he seem
he was great. I mean, I can't deny he was great. It was nice and all that, but
I mean, was he dressed nice? Does he need money?
But these are the questions. Like, I would like to discuss that with people around me. You think he took a little taste after we left?
I don't think so.
A little taste.
I don't think so.
You don't think he took the taste?
No, that's like stealing from the poor box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new pope said the church should go back to poverty. I like this new pope a lot. He seems like a genuinely good guy, yeah. But he's talking about poverty and how the church is vain and worldliness, and they've gotten caught up in worldliness. Like, he's really fucking smashing the church a little bit.
Yeah,
and the arrogant, pompous garbage that they do.
Yeah.
They have taken like kind of this fucking gold ensconced and fucking, the Vatican is just this gaudy fucking
He won't stay in the Pope's quarters. He sleeps in the poverty-stricken kind of quarters, and he doesn't like to be...
no room service.
They want everyone else to have a vow of poverty, and then the Vatican is like over the top impressive.
All these guys walking around.
Yeah, let's say hi to Travis in New Hampshire. Let's do a speed round here. Go ahead, Travis. Make it quick.
All right.
Thank you. That was great. Walter in Florida.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Hey.
The whole thing is just Anthony nailed it in the head, I think, a minute ago.
You in your head.
It's just faith, Opie. The guy has the ritual. The ritual kind of sort of turns on the green light, and it's kind of like you got married. you're no different now than you were 10 minutes before you married your
There
chick.
you go.
It's that thing that you say, okay, now in the eyes of the Lord, I give him my kid to just kind of watch over it a little bit. We'll do our best. He'll do our best, and we have faith that it's going to come out okay.
So it's more
That's
like
really all it is.
So it's more like symbolism. What went on the other day?
That's the word I was looking for right there. Yeah, it's just something that you just kind of say to God, hey, listen, we trust you pretty good. Do the best you can for our little kid. We like it really good, but when we're gone, you take over, kind of a thing. And we'll do the best we can, and we know.
Jimmy doesn't like religious talk.
I'm not knocking this guy.
But it's fascinating to me. It really is fascinating. I kind of like what he's saying, at least. It's symbolism instead of like there's some kind of magic spark that just happened because this priest put water on my daughter's head. I can appreciate what this guy's saying, at least. It's a better explanation.
That's it, boys. That's really all it is.
And you're actually just saying this to God, like the same creature being that created pulsars and black holes and light speed and particles and redshift in the light, all of this. And now he's like, well, I'd like to see some symbol. It's just utter nonsense.
Come on.
But he didn't create any of that stuff. That's just science.
Dude,
But if everything came from nothing, how did science come about?
I know. Listen, Jimmy. It's the same God that blessed you with the skills that you have and the gift that you have.
Dude, I appreciate that.
Lovely gift between his legs.
And I appreciate that and what you're saying. But the gift I
We all
have,
agree we wish we had just a slightly more gift
more
between our
gift.
legs.
better gift.
Just a little bit.
Needed a little more wrapping paper for that gift.
Right.
But God didn't give me a sense of humor. It was one of those things that's all fucking chemical, out of need.
No.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Stop it, or you'll fuck the whole thing up.
Oh.
Well, then I guess then God is not that terrific if I can just talk a little shit and have a gift is supposed to be free. So if he gave me a gift and I misuse it, well, he won't take it back.
You didn't pay for the skill you have.
That's what I said.
You knew about it and you worked on it, but it's just like a doctor works on what he works.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the same. Yeah. No, but it didn't cost you nothing to get it. You had it. Somebody put it in there.
No, yeah, nature did. It's all chemicals.
Okay, boss. So who owns nature, my friend?
Dude, nobody owns nature. It's just
Okay.
No, seriously, I'm not shitting on you for believing, but nobody owns. There's not a magic man watching out over nature.
I never used the word magic.
Or
Magic
whatever
is
you
from
want to call it, a
Magic is from
deity.
the devil.
Exactly.
Oh, the devil.
And then
the
there's the
magic
bad one
guy.
who pays attention and tries to get us to not take God's name in vain. The red. Come on, dude.
Pretty
you're
good. He's
grown up.
he's got horns and pitchfork.
It's
he lives where
silly.
it's hot. He lives where it's hot, under the earth. God lives in heaven on the clouds.
It's just silly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to die any more than you do. I don't want to cease to exist any more than you do. I love the idea of being and existing. I love it. And I know that the idea of God gives us that we're going to continue to exist. And it makes it hard for me to not want to believe in a God, because I want to exist after I die. And the prospect of not existing bums me out. That's all God is. And I hate to say that.
No, but that's, but remember too, the higher power. We call it God. You call it higher power, but there's always some force
Yes.
that's in control of it all, and it's mightier.
Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
No, dude, it doesn't have to be. I know what you mean about higher power, and it's kind of hard for me. I struggle with the higher power idea. Like, what is it and what is it for me? But sometimes it can just be a group of people doing something that you are not doing as a power greater than yourself. It doesn't have to be a spiritual deity.
I got you.
All right.
And we can go round and round. But Opie, I think that's it. I think. And by the way, you really don't know if he took a taste because you left and left the envelope. So that one is just, oh well. Hopefully he didn't.
You should have put dye on the money.
man.
Comes out with fucking red dye. Probably not, though.
Yeah, probably not.
You just made me think of something. Thank God I was born into the Catholic religion. Can you imagine being born into Well, I'm just going to say another type of religion.
Yeah.
I want to keep it slightly vague, even though we all know what I'm talking about here. And then you are the chosen one to strap on all those fucking bombs.
Oh, God, yeah.
You got
to be the fucking bomb guy.
They decided. They decide you got to be the bomb guy.
Whoa.
Well, there's other religious groups that do that. Yeah. I just want to say.
Jimmy, what do you feel about this? Let's say that, because there's always this separation of the church and God and science. They're always at loggerheads, as they say. What if it's the same thing? What if this higher power is just some type of energy source that did create everything, and it was very scientific. It was basic chemical reactions and stuff. And us as a life form from all that matter, and we do have electronic impulses that give us pretty independent personalities and whatnot. You might call that a spirit. Mm-hmm. And we all, once we do pass on from this mortal coil, end up in some energy collective. That is the equivalent to a heaven or whatnot. But it's very scientific. Yeah. And it's been twisted around through people not understanding in the past. A lot of people misinterpreted and misunderstood everything from the planets to our own Earth and everything.
To what the sun is. And
Right. So it's this very scientific thing that's been interpreted to be a religious thing, but it is this mass collective of energy that we are part of.
I could live with that, and it wouldn't... I don't deny that exists. That's very possible. And it's just the ritual of what religion has become is so embarrassing. It's embarrassing for a guy to be walking around and people to go, "Your Holiness." He's a guy. And I'm not saying he's not a good man, but I'm walking by the Beacon and the Dalai Lama's coming for 3 nights. Ooh. And the ad is His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Really?
Yes.
Like literally, we're all spawned from a load. You understand?
Yes,
That's all of us, whether we are a pope or whether this guy jamming his middle finger, every one of us tumbled out of a dick.
Oh, man.
It makes me nuts.
That bums me out.
Yeah, but that's all we are. But maybe it is some kind of electron thing. Sure, maybe. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Or maybe humans figured it all out. Living somewhere else.
Oh, aliens?
Well, no, just some kind of human form that has... been around way longer than us, and
on some other planet, though.
Yeah, and they figured it out. There might be a little chip in all of our brains.
Yeah,
it goes off when we die, and go, oh, okay, now
go back to.
Now we get to go do the rest of this shit. Now
it sounds like Scientology.
Yeah,
go onto the fucking other planet and the Thetans and the fucking.
It's not far fetched to think that humans are going to figure out how to. I don't know, live forever or almost live forever, or certainly for a hell of a lot longer than we get to live.
I don't know. Meat rots. That's pretty much the bottom line with people. Meat will rot. So,
yuck.
I don't know.
Morty!
Mike on Long Island.
I've been living in a fool's paradise.
Mikey, what's up?
Mike?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up?
Hey, it turns out anybody can actually baptize a baby. We found this out. My brother was in the hospital. He was very young, and he was about to die. Thank God he made it. But the nurse asked my mom if he was baptized, and she said no. She said, "Do you want me to baptize your child?" And she was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, anybody can baptize a child, especially this time of need." So this whole priest thing, not really necessary. You can grab one of your buddies and have him baptize him.
I need an old priest and a young priest.
But do you have to do some mumbo jumbo thing? You have to know the proper mumbo jumbo.
No, you just kind of say, we bless this child in the name of God, pour a little water, and you're good. It's basically like an emergency baptism.
So I could. So hold on. I'm going to go with your concept. So I could grab kids off the street and decide to make them Catholics.
Sure.
Can you imagine?
Oh man,
that would piss off some people.
Yeah. Anybody that's Catholic that's been through confirmation, that's go through the whole gamut, all the steps, can actually baptize a child. So if you had a Catholic friend or something like that, you could absolutely get someone to baptize your kid because anybody in the name of God can do it.
So following that logic, you got a kid that's not part of the Catholic faith because their parents believe in something else, but you decide as a Catholic, I need to baptize that kid. So you grab him off the street and do the mumbo jumbo. Now he's officially a Catholic for eternity?
No, he has to be chosen to be a Catholic by the parents.
See, here's the thing, dude.
Well, that's Okay.
You know how we look at Greek mythology and we read about it in school?
Them Greek homos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we look back at
Thank you,
2,000
sir.
years ago, or the cave wall, and we laugh at how fucking primitive they were.
Yeah.
Or when they thought that the earth was the center of the universe, or that the sun was holy, or that the aurora, what are they called? What are the lights?
Aurora Borealis.
Or that they were God crying, or the gods. You know how we look at that as horse shit? That's how we're going to look back at all this. And it's all like, what bothers me about it is we think we're such an advanced, brilliant species and culture, and we still have these fucking primitive ape behaviors.
I could totally spin that around on you, though, Jimmy.
Sure.
How about you mocking the fact that this God that would create all kinds of complex things in this universe would also look in and say somebody, has to pay attention to some dumb rule or something. And that seems very silly. But you're thinking about it on a level of yourself or some other human-like intellect that you can't concentrate on that, or that is so big that you couldn't concentrate on the smaller aspect of humanity. But this God, this all-knowing God, is able to do those things, to put up huge fucking stars in the sky and, make sure some kid gets baptized.
Sure.
All at once. And thinking any differently is kind of an archaic thought process because you're thinking in a very limited way.
Well, I'm only thinking in the ability I have to as a human being and to make decisions. So the same mind that is going to determine whether or not I quote unquote sin or not, whether I quote unquote accept God or not, is the same one that's coming to this conclusion. And I will say this: if there is that God that can do all that and still worries about whether or not I took the Lord's name in vain, then he's an ass.
Yes, I got to agree with you on that one.
Maybe our brains are just not there yet. We just don't. No one could say for sure they know. That always bothers me because we don't know for sure, right?
Oh my God, look at this.
People have ideas and stuff, but you don't know.
I won't say who this is, but my mother secretly baptized my uncle's daughters.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Secretly baptized,
So, I guess her,
I wouldn't be surprised if my daughter was already baptized, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised because we took a little too long. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a real thing that happens.
Wow.
So maybe this was just all a show thing this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
None of us like the idea of ceasing to exist. I don't like it either. I want to exist, and that's all this is. It's all it is. It's a way we can see that we're going to exist after.
It gives you motivation to do anything because if you just look at this like this is it, you really don't have much motivation to do much of anything except whatever is pleasurable to you. Hey, we just got a short time here. Why the fuck would I waste it working or procreating or doing any of this stuff that,
Yeah. Believe me, I don't want to be.
I think as human beings, we haven't figured out shit yet. I have a major problem with organized religion, absolutely.
But the more we figure out, the more preposterous it. Not preposterous, like I can't wrap my head around it, but just idiotic.
We also learn about the possibilities, which are pretty fucking cool.
I think the like Jimmy said, the whole mumbo jumbo thing and your holiness and the hierarchy of clergy and stuff is really fucking ridiculous.
Nonsense.
I don't get it. I don't believe in it. And if there is some religious aspect to this life here, I think it is based more in science than anything else. And it's been interpreted over the years to be some type of God and we're his servants kind of a fucking thing. I don't know.
Did God invent science, though?
Science!
Trevor in Canada.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Hey.
I think one of the biggest problems with religion nowadays is that everybody's looking for a black and white answer, and I don't think there is such a thing. I really think
half that.
The people who have blind faith who don't want to talk about it is because they don't know what faith is.
See the album cover of that with a naked kid? It's crazy.
Sure, I did.
Well, some people just go to church and think because they just step in a church, they have faith.
That's exactly right. And you know what? Faith is really between you and who you believe in. And that's why, for someone like Jimmy or whatever, even myself, I was brought up as a Catholic, and it turned me away from the church because I was told if you don't believe this, you're not accepted and all that kind of bullshit. And it's like, my God accepts everybody, whether you're, saying his name in vain, whether you're gay or not.
I mean, there's so many things in the Bible that are not talked about. The only ones that are talked about and exploited are by these organized religions that kind of want you to believe in something that they believe. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but I can see why it's there. Some people need that structure. Some people have a hard time believing.
But, dude, when you think about it, this is what, like, again, I'm not saying you're stumping for any religion, but Christians. Like, if a guy walks around right now saying he's the Messiah, we look at him like, you asshole.
That's true.
And 2,000 years, hold on, dude, 2,000 years ago, there were organized societies. It wasn't like we were cave people. There's a guy walking around, and I think Jesus existed, and I think he was probably a really good person, and probably a very, you know, a sincere person. But now all of a sudden, an entire society follows him like he was the son. It's mind-boggling to me that this is accepted.
Well, you know what, and I agree with you, and that's why it's hard for some people to believe that. I mean, I think in the Bible there are a lot of stories, and they talk about Jesus told a lot of stories as symbolisms. They didn't all necessarily
Stories.
But the exact same thing is exactly what you're talking about there, Jimmy, is just, you know, everybody back then thought this guy was crazy. He's a lunatic. And it wasn't until after he died that some things happened that made them second-guess things.
And didn't they write the Bible like 600 years later or something?
Well, yeah. And
300, I think.
Was it 300 years later, and then there's a whole bunch of stories they chose not to put in the Bible?
300 years in that day was pretty fucking... I don't think they had an accurate depiction of what was going on. They had no real records of anything.
They only lived to 30. So it's like 10 generations, and they decided to write about this Jesus guy, right?
And this one begat that one, and that one begat this one, and begat. And then
there's a whole bunch of stories they left out. I would like to know what those stories are, and if that changes your perspective on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So someone decided, who edited the Bible? I should know all this shit, but someone decided.
I think a canon they were called.
Yeah, they did publishing.
Yeah, they decided. They decided which stories would be in the Bible.
Yeah.
Who are they to decide?
You'll also hear people saying, you know, why does God let this happen, or why didn't God help? And you know what? Those are, again, along the lines of people saying, ask God for this, ask God for that, where I truly believe he's given us everything that we needed.
But maybe
the last time he interfered with the planet was when he decided to destroy it.
But maybe life is really important to us, but in the overall scheme of things, it really isn't important.
Well, he left the planet for us to live and grow. I mean, look at it now, right? Like, look where we are. Like 10 years ago, we said money's not going to be existent anymore. Now I can go to Starbucks and buy a fucking coffee with my phone.
Yeah, but when you look at something like the flood or the biblical flood, does that not just seem like a childish story to you?
Yeah, of course.
Noah lived to be 900, did he? And he built a big boat.
More violent than what the story's made out to be. I totally believe there's a lot more violence involved that just, you know, to make it easier for kids to accept. But, I mean, I truly believe dinosaurs were part of that story. And they were part of that destruction. Because in the Bible, it doesn't say Triceratops. I mean, humans came up with the names of all these guys, but I really think they were one of those animals that were killed.
Dude, I'll tell you, dude, the problem with dinosaurs is that for years and years, religion did not. They said dinosaurs were a hoax and that they didn't exist, and they began to look so foolish and embarrassingly out of touch that they tried to backtrack and update and go, oh no, the dinosaurs were there. Like, how does that not make anybody who believes in that just go, oh God, what crap?
Well, that's what I mean by the part of organized religion, where you can't tell somebody to believe. It's up to that person to have that feeling.
And how many religions are we up to?
Oh,
someone on Twitter said 4,200 about. I don't know. Is that the number they throw around? Oh. So that means only one is going to be right.
He-Rog's a dinosaur, Margie.
Yeah, some of them cross over too. I think probably one of the biggest things, Opie, if you ever want to get into a debate or a great discussion with somebody who says they're highly religious, is ask them what faith means, and try to watch them stumble through that. Because I'm
not about I just want to have open discussions. I don't want to question someone's faith, because if it gets you through a bad situation or whatever, who am I to say? I'm not going to be that guy. I just want to have open discussions and find the weird little things about it, like the pamphlets.
Yeah.
I have a dinosaur in my backyard.
And someone's saying that the stories were 90 years after Jesus died. What's the
90?
I heard 600.
I heard 300.
Jimmy heard 300.
How could you tell? They didn't even have a calendar back then.
Even
What the hell
90.
they were doing.
You got to count for leap years.
90 years ago. I don't even know what like my great-grandfather did for a living.
90
Guys,
years,
I'll let
yeah.
you move on to some other callers.
I want you to do
hope
that.
See you again in Toronto there, Jim, and bring these two guys with you.
Thank
Jeff
you,
of the
buddy.
Dinosaurs.
And also,
All right,
dude, the
Trevor.
problem is that there were so many stories edited out of the Bible.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
what I
what
said.
drives you crazy. It's like it was voted the most popular story. It's just
Right, what are those stories saying?
so people reference the Bible as a great book and a good moral code to follow and a lot. Okay, but the fact that they're so married to it, what Leviticus said about homosexual, like the fact that there's so
that
many
Leviticus.
dumb motherfuckers involved with it, it's just hard to respect it.
The one thing I have no doubt in my mind is the fact that this earth is way more than 2,000 years old. That I have no doubt in my fucking mind.
They say 6,000, I think, is what
Even
the Bible's
6,000.
Of course, just
look
of
at
course.
basic. Look at that picture there. The
6,000.
basic erosion of like the Grand Canyon. You look at it.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah,
The
apparently.
dinosaurs were on the boat, and yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's just
That's wrong.
No doubt it's over 6,000 years old.
Yeah, it's wrong.
You could look at mountains and valleys and the erosion and rivers and stuff and know that it took a lot longer than 6,000 years
course
to
you can.
carve that out.
There's
course
no
you
doubt
can.
in my mind, at least that much.
Yeah.
At least that much.
Well, no, God had a 24-hour, because that's how God based his day, on
Right.
the Earth's rotation, not anything else to do. And it builds a universe. There's 100 billion galaxies.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. 24 hours for this blob of blue shit, but it's just, it just makes you throw your hands up in the air and
I
go,
saw
"How-"
Gravity, though. It's a terrific fucking blob
Oh.
of shit. It's beautiful.
It is.
Looks like a
But
nice
God
blue
wouldn't. Why
marble.
would he use that as his little pocket watch?
For what?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, he's get tired after 6 days. Whew.
He needed a rest.
I got to take a load off.
How do you rest?
Sunday.
Yeah. I never got that. It's like when Superman fucking tries to open a locked door and he grabs the doorknob and goes, and it fucking walks in. It's like if he could pick up a bus, he wouldn't have to strain at the doorknob.
Well, then it would be a boring show, though.
Yeah, but she just fucking should be nothing.
You gotta blow that shit off so you can enjoy yourself a little
Yeah.
bit. You understand.
So God's making all kinds of things, and then he fucking gets tired.
Wouldn't he make potholes wherever he walks if he's that powerful?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Or maybe he just knows how to keep the touchdown.
And
nice.
could God make a boulder so big that he himself could not lift it?
Whoa.
It's fucking crazy, right?
Yep.
Should be able to because he's God. He could do anything. But then if he could do anything, he should be able to lift the rock.
See, look at all these questions in the discussion. That's all I was looking for. A little of that over the weekend. Just a little.
Yeah.
Like the pamphlet thing bothered me, so oh no, man, he's the magic. He's the middleman, and
He's the
that
middleman.
was it. I was
the
like,
magic guy.
okay.
He's the magician's assistant. The hot chick that comes out and fucking
Well, he wasn't a
waves
hot chick.
points at the fucking mysterious box that people get cut in half in.
All right, we're gonna do some Jocktober, I think, next.
I have important announcements to make.
What?
Ooh, go ahead.
Thank you to the
Jimmy.
Blaze, by the way. Someone told me I'm prominently featured on the Blaze.
I like the
Nice.
Blaze.
Thank you. And
Stunt Brain works for the Blaze.
yes,
Certainly does. You see that dirty hippie picture of him he posted?
No.
Oh, it's fucking funny.
Twittered or on the Blaze?
Yeah, I think it was twittered. But he, oh my God, he's got fucking like long hippie hair and it's pretty funny. Mike,
Oh, what a good
our
website.
pal Mike. Oh, Jimmy Norton.
October 18, 19, I'm in Stitches in Lancaster. 25, 26,
Oh, I hope you'll be okay.
the Comedy Club in Rochester, and November 1 at the Beacon with Andrew.
Nice.
That's what I have. And I'm booking Albany as well coming up.
Ooh,
All this material workout
Jimmy
shit.
Norton. You're the hardest working man in that seat.
Yeah, I am on this side of the room because it's just me and Sam.
Of course.
Sam's lazy.
We're going to do a Jocktober?
I think so.
I'm psyched for that.
Maybe some
Definitely.
other things. We'll see, right?
Right.
All right.
You're listening to Opie and Anthony. Sirius XM.